and eradicating termites using a combination of effective traditional and no move out alternative simple solutions like Electrogun and our E. coli heat and more.
E. coli is the leader and best in alternative and traditional termite control.
Termites hide their presence until their damage gets out of control. Don't wait till that happens. Termite treatment now can save you thousands of dollars later.
So call us for a free termite estimate at 877-332-BUGS, 877-332-BUGS, or online at termitelady.com.
E. coli, powerful termite and pest control.
As gentle as a butterfly.
Good morning, 7:32. It's information now. And again, be safe out there. We get some warm temperatures, 50s and 60s, and pretty strong winds blowing. So it could be a pretty dangerous day for fires. So please be safe out there. Right now, time to talk food with our favorite grocery gal, Amy Goldsmith. Amy's helped to launch and grow some of the most well-known brands that many of us eat, or at least see on the grocery shelves. She's a food industry insider and lives her life as a food finder, looking for the best new products and trends. You can follow Amy and direct message her any questions through Instagram at The Grocery Gal and TikTok at grocery.gal. Well, good morning, grocery.gal.
Good morning, Ben.
All right. Well, we had some listeners call in with some really good questions. I really like our questions. So let's get started. We have a listener that called in and said that he's a meat eater, and he wants to know, and this is actually a pretty good question, if it's healthier to eat meat or chicken on a regular basis.
All right, well, this is a great question, and let me start off by saying I'm not a registered dietitian, so I'm only going on, by my research. Beef actually has a few nutritious advantages over chicken as it contains more iron and zinc, and these substances are essential for our immune system and our brain development. However, chicken is much better for your cardiovascular health because it has less cholesterol and saturated fat than beef. So if you're eating a protein daily and you're not a fish eater, go with chicken. If you're worried about cholesterol and heart health especially, be sure it's lean chicken with the skin off. You can eat meat occasionally, but just make sure it's lean. And also just be aware of serving sizes. Your fist or a deck of cards actually is a great way to determine your serving size. That's one serving of meat. So if you're someone who tends to sit down and eat a 42-ounce steak, and I know those are readily available on the Central Coast,
Yeah.
my guess is that that's probably about 5 times the size of your fist. So be careful. Also, lean pork. Remember that old slogan, pork, the new white meat? Pork's an option too, but ask your doctor what your personal goals are in terms of food and wellness, and to go from there.
Yeah, matter of fact, over the holidays, my wife and I got some steaks, and so we actually, instead of eating the whole thing, we actually split it and made a couple of meals out of it, so I guess maybe that's one way to go.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And if you cut like a steak in half, you'll realize, put it up to your fist. It becomes really clear what a serving size is.
Sure. So now, what cut of meat is the best, Amy?
In terms of health, a sirloin steak tends to be one of the leanest cuts of beef, making it really a great option in a health-conscious diet. And when comparing cuts of beef, look for a lower amount of saturated fat per serving. And again, depending on your personal goals, a 3-ounce serving of chicken breast, which is white meat with no skin, really provides 25 grams of protein and about 130 calories. So while dark chicken meat has some added vitamins, that's not in the white breast, it tends to have more calories and fat. So again, overall, the healthiest is the chicken breast with the skin off.
All right, and maybe to clarify, should we choose chicken over red meat?
Yeah, so again, discuss with your doctor or registered dietitian, but I think it's safe to say that chicken is healthier. And just be careful how you're cooking it. I mean, chicken may be healthier, but if you've got fried chicken, it's not necessarily healthier. So, and again, remember how much you're eating in a serving, and remember the fist rule.
Yep, very true. We have grocery gal Amy Goldsmith with us here on KUHL. 7:36 is the time. So, Amy, we have to ask, do you eat a lot of red meat? It's the million-dollar question.
$1 million question. So probably more than you think that I would. And I actually have a situation in my body where I have oddly low cholesterol. It's very, very uncommon. The bad cholesterol is really low, which is great, and the good cholesterol is fine, but it's also low. And added together, it's just super low. It's actually very, very rare, and there are very few studies on it. But too low cholesterol is associated with low vitamin D and not having a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. and it can potentially lead, they think, to cancer, depression, and anxiety. So I actually eat red meat probably more than you think, and I have to eat the yolk of an egg, and I have to eat the skin of a chicken, all to get my cholesterol up, which is really counterintuitive because I'm a pretty healthy person in terms of like food. And, I know all of you are like driving right now playing your baby violin for me, for Grocery Gal. You're trying to get your cholesterol under 200. Trust me, I hear you.
Yeah.
I brag it's the best test score I've ever received. But this is why I say this, is that every body is different. So when I say you should really talk to a dietitian or your doctor and talk about what your personal body goals are, it's really important because everyone's so different. What about you, Ben? You and Jenny had steak the other night. Do you eat a lot of red meat?
Well, usually I don't. So last night we had hamburgers, but I do eat a lot of beans because being a diabetic, I'm told that's really good for you, eating a lot of beans. So hamburger, I had chicken the other night. So I'll have a steak maybe, I don't know, once or twice a month. Not a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. So, Amy, you once told us your mom had a philosophy about eating red meat in food in general. So maybe we'll get mom's advice here, right?
That's right. My mom was a pretty progressive eater, given her generation. She passed away over a year ago. She was in her 80s. We could do a whole segment on her eating habits. But she used to say, if you listen to your body, it will tell you what it needs. But if it's always screaming for sugar and cookies, perhaps don't listen to your body. So, for example, yesterday I ate an apple. And unless it's berries of some sort, I'm really not a huge fruit person. But I really wanted an apple. And I chuckled to myself because I thought, I was cutting it and I was only going to have a slice, and I was leaving it on the snack board on the counter for the kids to nosh on during the day. But I ended up eating the whole thing, and guess what? I needed whatever vitamins were in, that particular apple at that moment. So to my mom's point, like my body wanted it. It was screaming for it, and sometimes it screams for steak at night. You just have to listen to your body. And by the way, I want to tell you, with my steak that we occasionally have, I had ordered a hitching post seasoning salt. I have it delivered to my house just for those steak occasions when my body's screaming for it.
I love hitching post, by the way. So you get their seasoning salt. It's kind of like almost being there, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So now, speaking of healthier, and this is pretty interesting too. So a caller wants to know, how long does it take to burn off 1,000 calories with exercise? I mean, are you going to be there for like 8 hours, or what's happening?
Honestly, it's really different for all of us based on our body composition. But according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the average adult woman expends about 1,600 calories to 2,400 calories a day, and the average man uses about 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day. So it's really based on your height, your weight, your muscle mass, fat, your movement, the kind of foods you're eating. So, but for reference, the average exercise class is about 40 to 50 minutes long. And if your heart rate is up, depending, on you as a person, you can burn about 500 calories. So, 2 hours of high intense aerobic could probably burn about 1,000 calories. And if you brisk walk for about 30 minutes a day, you can burn about 150 calories. So generally running is the best calorie burning exercise, but if you don't have enough time to go on a run, you can shorten your workout into high intensity sprints, and your body will rapidly burn calories to fuel your workout.
All right. So what's an ideal number of calories to consume per meal? After we discussed what we're going to talk about this week, I actually looked up the calorie count for fast food burgers, and I was horrified. I mean, there was some had 1,300 calories for just a burger. So, what's the ideal number?
So it's about 300 to 400 calories for breakfast, and about 500 to 700 calories each for lunch and dinner. And then, you're going to incorporate probably a morning and evening snack for a total of about 400 to 500 more calories. But remember, not all food is created equal. So a 200-calorie nutrition bar versus a 200-calorie apple. I mean, an apple is better, right? I mean, it's easier to burn off, it's natural, there's vitamins and health benefits versus a processed item. So it's not just the calories, it's the type of calories too, but roughly 300 to 400 for breakfast and 500 to 700 calories for lunch and dinner.
All right, we have Grocery Gal Amy Goldsmith, 741. We had another caller, Amy, that asked where bananas come from. So I don't know if they come from California, but I'm assuming probably not.
No, they don't actually. They come from banana trees, though. And 75% of all the exported bananas come from plantations in about 4 countries: Ecuador, Costa Rica, Colombia, and the Philippines. Bananas thrive in tropical temperatures, high humidity, and precipitation.
Yep, and I love bananas, but are they good for you?
They're rich in vitamins and fiber. They're also fat-free and cholesterol-free. So, they're rich in B6, and they're a good source of vitamin C, magnesium. So, yeah, they're good for you. But they also have sugar, natural sugar in it. So you need to be careful about, dental hygiene, so it doesn't lead to tooth decay.
All right, and so I think we're going to talk a little bit about the best-selling item in Walmart here, and I was kind of thinking about this, and we were just talking about bananas. So is it in fact bananas?
Yes, it is. It is bananas. The best-selling product in Walmart for years has been bananas. Also in 7-Eleven, too, believe it or not. People really like bananas, and they keep it by the front, checkout. So it's an impulse purchase buy. So they go through a ton. And Walmart bananas come from farms in Mexico, Central America, and the top of South America.
Interesting. So we're talking about diets and everything, and I don't know if you might be able to help us, but this kind of popped in as a question, but I've often heard if you're feeling hungry to try drinking water first because it could be that your body's dehydrated.
Yes, that's true. If you're on a diet, if you're trying to lose weight, you should be drinking a ton of water every day. At least 8 glasses of water, 54 ounces of water a day, even more. But also, yes, you might want to drink a glass of water before you sit down for a meal because it fills you up, so you'll eat less.
Good to know. All right, that'll help us with our diets here for the new year. But don't forget, you can follow Amy and, of course, all this wonderful information. And thanks to our listeners, by the way, for those great questions. But, by the way, you can follow Amy with all this great information. And that's The Grocery Gal. So on Instagram at The Grocery Gal and also TikTok at grocery.gal. Amy, some great information as usual, and hopefully we'll do it again next week.
Thanks, Don.
All right, 7:43. Don't forget birthdays and anniversary wishes. 928-1440 is my number.
Due to the new restrictions, Kalira Winery is not able to conduct wine tastings. However,